guys, welcome to the Shoes and Biscuits podcast. I'm your host Shane Hinton, and here with me today is the lovely Alex.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Please keep this all in. A minute in, and we haven't got to our guest.
Is that
minute. Yeah.
Do you want me to come?
Come back in a minute. Yeah, I told you I was having technical issues. Like, it's just sometimes with podcasts and anything to do with this sort of stuff, as a lovely guest will probably confirm as well. Sometimes it just never goes to plan. Nothing works, and you can check it a million times, and it just does not work. But yeah, anyway, so have you guys been? Alex, Luke, UK?
I've been pretty good, thanks, Shane.
Yeah, Alex has been on holiday.
You've been on holiday? Where you been, though?
I went to Barmouth for a week. It's very nice. I don't know if you've ever been there, and it was very hot. And
have I ever been there? I'm a 90s baby. Of course I've been to Barmouth.
It's great. It's good, isn't it? It's nice.
I do like Barmouth.
And
in fact, funny enough, I'm actually going to Rhyl next week.
Are you?
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
am. So that's pretty cool. So I need to get this edited and scheduled because it needs to be released as I'm on holiday. I ain't doing it on holiday.
I ended up socially meeting up with 3 Reduced to Clear crew members last week on Sunday.
Did you?
In Birmingham. Met with Callum, our script supervisor, Reese, our assistant director, and Helen, my assistant, because I'm cool enough to have an assistant now.
I think I remember. I think I saw the picture online.
Yeah. It was interesting.
So you guys brought a guest, and he's not a stranger to the podcast at all. He has been on before. Head over to Podbean to go and see the previous episodes. Do you want to introduce your guest in spectacular fail style?
So it's both our director of photography and our producer, our fellow producer, Mr. Gareth Owain David Thomas.
Oh, what's the full name then?
The full name.
Nice.
It's how you're credited in the film. So
it is.
The initials, it's God Thomas, but some people
that's
get
cool.
upset by that. But yeah, it is actually God Thomas. But whatever works for you.
I think we'll stick with Gareth Owain.
We'll still get.
No, it's always working.
So Gareth, obviously you're now involved, or have you been involved with Reduced Clear from the start? Have you?
Not the very, very start, because obviously these guys came up with the idea and wrote a script and all the rest of it. But I think it was
January.
No, better than me. It was fairly early doors, wasn't it? When you were looking for crew and all of it.
It was around the point that just after Ewan came on board, I think.
Yeah, which was it's January.
Yeah,
sounds about right. Yeah, been a long time, hasn't it?
It really has.
This year has flown by, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Has it been? It's been officially over a year since we started writing the script.
Over a year since we started writing this script. This has been in the works for over a year. So what we have to show for it is going to happen.
Well, we did take like months apart. It was like near the start of lockdown.
I suppose.
I guess it was middle of lockdown.
It was when we got to September. We took a break till like November.
Yeah, because I think we just both kind of forgot about it. And we were like, let's jump back onto this script that we're writing. And Alex and I were like, we don't want any big projects. Let's just get a couple of mates to do this, and it'll be a bit of fun. And then something happened, and I am so glad we didn't.
And then we ended up with God, so we got it pretty good. I mean, you got to see where you start and then where you actually end. Completely different. It is crazy. So,
and we literally, Alex and I, about an hour ago, came off a meeting with our props girl, and goodness, we've got some props. Props
are good. We got to back it.
We write words on pages and don't ever think about them ever again, and then someone comes having spent like days, hours, whatever of their life, like putting together these things, and we're just like, wow, that's
that happens to me all the time because I write nothing down, and I'm useless with this sort of stuff.
And you're constantly presented by nothing in return.
And it's spoiled my life really. No, my girlfriend is amazing because she basically runs my life. I do all the time. On her birthday, I actually scheduled. I can't remember if it was something at the prison or if it was something to do podcast related. I can't remember now. But I knew that her birthday was on the 19th of December. But I was also arranging this separately. I just didn't put the two together.
Yeah,
and I was like, and then I was like, oh, so I'm doing this on Wednesday, and she was like, Wednesday. I was like, yeah. She's like, you're busy Wednesday. Am I? She's like, yes, Shane.
Oh,
you're busy.
Oh,
am I?
Oh, must have sunk.
She looks at me. She's sort of going, when's my birthday? I was like, Oh!
I think those things can happen though when you kind of don't realize that, like, you've got two things that you're working on. You know they're both. You know the dates for those both individually, but your brain doesn't think to check those dates with each other.
Yeah, for
and it's
sure.
kind of
that's literally what I'm like. I just can't put the two together, you know. And
this is when I announce, Alex, that I'm doing another film also on the 21st.
Yeah. So Gareth, so like you know, what's your role with all this? Obviously, you're cameraman.
Yes, yeah. So I'm being DOP.
Director of photography.
Yes, director of photography for the uninitiated, I suppose. But it's quite nice to me because normally with my own stuff, the Rocking Horse stuff, I'm like director, right, and all the rest of it. Well, these guys come with great stories, great script, and they're the directors. So essentially, they just tell me where to point the camera, and that's what I get to do. So to be fair to them, they did humour me, and we had like a big long two big long chats, didn't we, online about shot lists and stuff.
Because yesterday I sent you a 7-page document on where to point the camera.
They made me feel really important about it all, so they've been great about it. But essentially, it's their gig, and I just have to, you know, bring my gear and just point it at the right people, and hopefully it will come out the way they want it to.
Yeah.
And I very briefly worked with you as DOP on a different project like 2 months ago. So that was it. Yeah, that wasn't like that came out like that was my film coursework. It came like out of the blue. They were like, "You got a month to make a film," and I was like, "Gareth, help!" And he very much did. And no one can see that film for another year because of exam rules. But it's there, and it
did happen. I promise. I was there.
Turned up.
So I know that I don't hate Gareth. That's what I've thought about. So.
Give it time.
So, was there anything in particular that you liked about Reduce to Clear, or was it just you're like, oh, it's local, I've got something to offer, I can do this for that person, let's just do it?
Well, the local bit was a big pull because I've been trying to get films made locally for the best part of like 7 or 8 years now, and it's been a bit of a struggle, to be honest. So here at Rocking Horse, we had to create a platform to make it viable, because unless you get guys like these two, which isn't very, very, very common, people have great ideas and they just forget about it and get on with life because there isn't the support or the resources, at least until now. So the local thing was definitely a big pull. And to be fair, as good as the script is, it could have been about just about anything, and I would have been like, within reason, the local film, get involved. But then I read it, and to be fair, you know, they've got some really, really exciting people attached to it, and to get people like that to this neck of the woods is an achievement for anyone. Never mind, you know, 2 young lads like these guys have done. So I think a lot of people are on board with it because of the fact they're so young and they've got these exciting ideas. Like I think in the film industry as a whole, or most industries, if you've not got experience, you don't get a look in. Whereas these guys managed to brand it in such a way that the fact they haven't got experience is what makes it different.
Yeah.
Is it scary?
Yeah, we've been very openly saying that we're the writer-directors and we're the least qualified people on set.
And I think that's the draw, though. I think that's what people like, is that, wow, this shouldn't work. But let's go along and see if it does.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things which I've actually found with interviewing a lot of these actors and stuff, that one thing that I really like is the fact that, you know, these guys are like, they're pretty high profile, you know, they've been in quite big, you know, the big movers. Yet they're still willing to help guys like Luke and Alex, you know, and do these sort of low budget-y sort of films in comparison to what they're used to. And one thing that Ewan said that really sort of struck me is like he was saying, like, it's actually really common. He said because it's a very niche. Everybody knows each other. He was like, you know, and 9 times out of 10, unless you're really snobby, you know, you'll get some form of sort of
well, in the grand scheme of things, I've not been making films for that long. I've been making like 4 years, maybe. I've been doing stuff, and almost every British film I watch, if I read the credits, I know at least one person who's worked on it. And I think that's kind of the point where you go like, oh, it is actually quite a small industry, and you know, there's the whole joke game of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, the idea of those few people who can separate you, supposedly everyone, from Kevin Bacon with 6 people or less. But it's like that with everyone in the industry. Like I sometimes look at stuff and it's like, oh, if I ever wanted desperately to get to work with this person, I could hypothetically ask this guy who knows this guy who knows blank. And that's so fascinating that it is such a, because the film industry is massive, but it's also so tight-knit because you've got so many people working together on one project.
When we did the Shropshire Live Festival, that was quite cool. It was the first time I'd done anything like that before, certainly since school anyway. And one of the things I really liked about that was we had this guy who come in, and his name was Charles from Micro Video.
Yeah, I know Charles. We work with him properly.
Yeah. Oh, is that right? That is Charles, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it is Micro Video. I was stretching my memory a little bit here. And he turned around to me and he says, everybody wants to be an actor. Nobody wants to be a director. And I was like, really? He says, yeah. He said, no one wants to make movies. Everyone wants to be in a movie. And I was like, oh. He says, so the industry is dropping off because no one's got these skills anymore. He says, and so the people like yourself, Gareth, and Luke and stuff that are still keeping the sort of directorship and like making these films and wanting to be that side of the camera and stuff is actually really good. I think it's awesome to keep that alive and promote it as well. Which is one of the reasons why I wanted to start doing these podcasts and stuff, to try and sort of give it a bit of a push and be like.
And it's also, at least for me, it's never an aim of like making my name out there. I would just love to be able to do what I love and earn enough to live off it. Walt Disney said once, I can't believe I'm throwing in quotes here. Walt Disney said once, we don't make films to make money. We make money to make films. And I live by that.
Yeah, 100%.
You might have said movies instead of films, actually, as American, but same point.
It must be a little bit of a labour of love, though, as well, because you must get to the point with editing and stuff. I mean, even just editing a podcast, I'm just sitting there sometimes on like, I just want to shoot myself in the head. Like, I've had enough. And like,
and it's I've been doing it all day, and all day yesterday. And a hard drive died on me. I had to spend a lot of money getting that brought back to life. And you do it because you think that we should keep this going, like Shane said. But at the same time, if you didn't love it, you wouldn't do it.
No, I remember at one point when I was making film Unstable back in 2019, I was while I was writing it, I was looking forward to filming it. While I was filming it, I was looking forward to editing it. And then once I'd edited it, I thought, what part was it that I enjoy? And I do really love it, and I love every stage. But I think sometimes you can be so caught up in doing it that you're always looking for the next step. But I think editing is nice in the sense that you know that everything's there and you've got it. But it's also terrifying because you know that if it's not there, or if something messes up. So editing could either be the nicest day where you go, oh, it's all coming together, or the most terrifying day where you go, I've made a mess.
Look what I did.
Sort of days.
And it's the same sort of thing with all sort of trades and stuff. I mean, even as a mechanic, I find that there's jobs which you just hate doing. You think to yourself, it comes, you look at the vehicle and you think, I really don't want to do that. It's a sucky job, and it's hard, and it's complicated, and it's boring, and all this other stuff. But then you got to do those things because eventually, then you'll get the E-type Jag coming in, and you get to work on that.
Yeah, and it's just like the worst day on a film set is so much better than the best day in any other job.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. Yeah.
I have a feeling that's a quote from the Disaster Artist. I'm not.
I was going to say, it sounds like something John Malkovich would say.
No, we haven't.
Alongside.
Coven, damn it!
The Coven Vector and.
She didn't get it right. The Coven Vector and Unsignten van Wandheiser.
Hey, excuse me. It's the Coven. It's the Konvektoren und Schweigenheiser.
Sure, yeah, that one. Damn, Gareth.
This is a long story.
Buses. Have you ever been on a bus in the summer and you're like, the window is open, so it should be hot, but why is my leg really warm? And then you look down and there's some massive, get the Schweizenheiser back up. Yeah, you see that? You see that red beam down there? Yeah. So imagine you're sat by the window, your leg is by there, and you're like, my leg is hot, man. And then you look down and you see the ventilation, and it's got hot air just pushing straight through it. Have you ever had that? Tell me.
Well, I normally sit at the back. So
I
always sit right at the front.
I sit at the back. These guys sit at the front.
I like to get off.
You sit a little further behind to where I normally sit. I sit like right at the front if I can.
I sit right.
Weird. That is so weird.
Just pop in on the driver's seat. Do you mind?
Sit on his lap. Hanging off his neck. Cheeky little kiss on the cheek while you're doing it. Like.
Yes.
That's a film right there.
Well, that's the weekly bus rant over. So, and Gareth doesn't even know what I'm on about, so it's pointless.
We haven't warned Gareth that there's potentially improv comedy coming up either, so we just wait.
Oh no, it's all good. I don't normally get warnings about anything anyway, so crack on.
How do we segue off bus, guys? Come on.
I would like, in case we forget to at the very end, to say that the next episode of this show is live streamed.
Have you decided you're going to do that now? Yeah?
If you're up for that, potentially we will just chuck the link into our Reduce to Clay group chat, and anyone involved in the film can hop on at any point during the hour-long stream, have a bit of a chat, do whatever. So I guess that is pretty much a week today to those listening, right? If this comes out next week,
this will be going out next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
It'll be Wednesday.
Yes, it'll be the following Wednesday. So just the normal time, right?
Let me just find out what day it'll actually be. So the 11th.
Sorry, Gareth, we bring you on and talk about the next episode.
Not interesting, but it's fine.
It's the 11th, right, of August. That's when that one is.
Yeah.
Right, nice.
It's terrifyingly close.
It is. Because, right...
That's the last one.
You put it right. Yeah, 2 weeks from now is the live one, which is the last one. And then, is it 10 days after that is the first day of filming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, like...
I would like to talk about a wonderful piece of convenience that has happened recently with the film, which is that aside from having our props girl, there's a few just general props that we're on the lookout for. There's a charity shop very near our location. I haven't checked with them whether we can name them, so I won't yet, but they'll be in the credits.
Every episode is a mystery.
I was speaking to those in the charity shop. I messaged them and I was like, "Let us know if you've got any of these props." They have everything.
Literally.
Of course, including Alex. Can we mention that one?
No.
There's one very, very, very obscure thing. I'm going to type it in the chat. The listeners won't know it, but this was on our list, right? And when you think of a charity shop that just sent me a photo saying, "Yeah, we got that," I was just like, why the heck do you have that?
Now what we want is we want you to watch the movie when it comes out and say what you think the prop was and let us know.
We'll have forgotten.
Forgotten. They just send us those words and we're like, what are you on about?
What's going to happen, right, is in like 2-3 weeks' time, I guess somebody messaging the Biscuit and just being like, just saying like props at me. I'll be like, what?
Yeah.
In 2-3 weeks' time, before they've seen the movie, they're just going coffee table.
Well, yeah, because they're going to hear the podcast before they see the movie.
Yeah, but they won't know what props.
Yeah, but they won't know. They won't scream props if they haven't seen the film.
Go, coffee table, window.
If you'd have met my brother,
kite.
Then you
kite.
Yeah,
cake.
No, we can't just use this as our get out of jail free card. Stop bringing the bus up.
Could we quickly get Katie to draw a sketch of that bus and just pop it in the background of one?
Oh my god, you totally got to do that. I'll send you this picture and then you can print it off like on a massive make it poster and put it on the wall. Oh, maybe that could be roped into my cameo.
No, you can't bring this.
Maybe
you can't claim the bus.
Maybe we will sign a picture of the Konvektoren und Schweigenheiser, and you can auction it off for Pod Aid. No one will care. But
get on a t-shirt and wear it when you're in the extra.
Yes. Yeah, that bus.
And no one will ever get it. That's how good it is. It just looks, you've got like yeah, exactly. Like the people who have got the shirts, and it's like a diagram of like the PlayStation. You've just got a bus diagram, and you're like, what?
Buses.
And it's in German too.
Yeah.
Alex, look in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Probably. We should ask.
You totally should. So Gareth, what have you been up to then, apart from Reduce Clear?
Oh, what have we been up to? We've been quite lucky lately, working on a couple of short films in Shrewsbury, and getting paid to do that. People like these guys come up with scripts and that, and they've got no resources to actually get a film made and all the rest of it. So they've been working on a few commissions like that, so that's been good. And then as we're coming out of this, fingers crossed, all the lockdown stuff, going into September, we're starting to finally resurrect our own projects. So we're working on a care home drama-based series to start off with. The beauty of that is it's all locally based, because in the past we've had these great ideas about making grandiose feature films, and it came up just slightly short every time. Took a couple of years to work out what the hell was wrong with us, and we recognised that having something set in a couple of simple locations, put the emphasis on good scripts, good characters, and not fancy locations and all the rest of it, and then you can go back to those locations and continue working there for potentially months at a time. We felt that might be a much more viable way from a financial, sensible point of view than taking massive risks on full-length films like we were doing before. And hopefully, if that works, it can lead us back to what we started with that feature film. So we've got that on the go. As well as that, some really exciting stuff's happened. We've been got into the live action game, which we never expected to be doing. And what I mean by that, and obviously normally we film things, then we edit it, then you release it. We've been approached to come up with live actors to dress in Peaky Blinder outfits for a themed Peaky Blinder night, and our guys essentially just kick off halfway through as if it's like a genuine fight, but it's all coordinated with a professional stunt coordinator and all this. So we've got that on the go, potentially a pantomime they want us to organise as well. So it's like a theatre group and meant to be a film company, and now they want us to do all this theatre stuff. And we did realise that when we got asked that question, one, it sounds nuts, but then two, we realised, well, while we're not a theatre group, we move in so similar circles as them, and we work with people who actually do theatre. We haven't had to look very far to find people who could do it under the Rocky North umbrella and get paid to do it too, and and give everyone a bit of everyone's great. No one expects to get paid doing what we do, not around here. But if you can help people out along the way, and obviously you want to, because they've done so much for us over the years. So Panto might be added to the list soon as well. So become a theatre group as well as film now. So I was busy before, but we'll see what happens.
Well, it's good to keep your options open, isn't it? I suppose, and at least it's not boring. And if you do need somebody that's fully qualified in a Peaky Blinder hat,
there you go. We're still looking for people. So
I was going to say, you got to fight, so you need someone who falls over a lot. I'm very clumsy. So
and you're allowed to carry the camera.
I don't carry the camera. That's Gareth's job.
Yeah,
I look at it from a distance and go, "That's all right."
Definition of a director.
In fact, I'm going to see during this conversation, Gareth, you know the opening scene of the coursework film you helped me with, and that very tight space. Yes. I'm going to see if I can grab a screen grab of that.
It was a bit tight.
It was.
We all got so
insanely weird. In fact, Shane, it's at the very start of this bloopers video, right? If I send you an unlisted link, could you play like the first 5 seconds of this video I sent you?
You're putting so much pressure on him all the time to get all this stuff up. He's not a wizard.
Why didn't you send me this first, man?
I only just thought of this. But it's,
you have to carry on talking while I'm
words, language,
messing about with it.
So I came to know Gareth through Jumping Out of Your Skin when that project was announced. I think there was some sort of if anyone wants to be involved, let me know. And I emailed in or phoned you or something, and you didn't hate me. So that's why we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that project hasn't been forgotten about for anyone out there getting angry because we've forgotten about it. We haven't. It's just that came along at a really bad time COVID-wise. So with the big massive protesting, for anyone listening who's not familiar or has forgotten all about it, it's our Black Lives Matter inspired short film where an old white racist and a young black activist swap bodies Freaky Friday style and start to understand what it's like to live in each other's bodies. So with the need for big, massive, angry crowd scenes, it just wasn't viable anytime soon because of all the social distancing stuff. And even though that's easy, and I think people are still going to be a little bit on edge about agreeing to go along to volunteer to do something like that without probably getting paid for it, at the moment, and risk that sort of proximity. I think it needs another year until we're ready for that, I think.
And it's better that than to kind of go, we want to make it now and just risk the art, being damaged by social distanced protest scenes or by just, I don't know, fix it in post, as we say. It wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
It would look trash.
So I'm going to try, and I don't even know if this is going to work. So I've never had to do a YouTube video onto a stream before. So I'm just going to try and see.
We're all about new experiences here on Reduced to Clear Biscuits.
What? I've never had to do it before.
No, I don't mean that in a ridicule. If it doesn't work,
right? Is that working?
Yeah, I can see that.
Sort of,
it's literally probably not that interesting a point. It's just the first 15 seconds proves one of the moments when I was.
If I pull this off, right, I want a pay rise. Right, ready?
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
This is the level of tight proximity in which we had to shoot a scene. You can't actually see this. It's basically a tiny cupboard. I'm just behind the camera, behind my phone, filming. Gareth's filming.
It's not actually anything.
You might want to. Can you stop here? Because otherwise, I'm going to get in trouble for leaking part of my coursework. But it's we had a scene in a prison cell, and we just found it was easier to use a cupboard in a cafe.
stand on a poor man's bed and look down at him. Which it was an interesting experience. But
at least it was someone you knew before. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still talking to me.
So obviously lockdown's affected a lot of people, and certainly the industry that you guys are working in has been greatly, massively affected. So what have you been doing to stay afloat, as it were? We've all got bills to pay, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, for us, actually, while lockdown was a killer in some ways, on another level, it actually helped us because we at Christmas time we recognised that no one could go to Santa's grotto because obviously they weren't open and that. And you get some old guy in a suit coming to your door, but that was, some people did that, but let's face it, he's not going to know one kid from another, and it's right on your doorstep. It's not exactly the typical Christmas thing. So what we recognise is if we could get parents send us very specific details about their kids, I don't know, Tommy age 7, he wants a red bike, but he only gets it if he eats all his roast potato on Christmas Eve or whatever. It's very specific things that only the parents or the real Santa could know. Tell our Santa that, email it to us, and our Santa will record a straight-to-camera video message for your kids, play it to him Christmas Eve just before bed. So it's as if he's talking out the screen, like I am to you now, and then he's saying at the end of it, right, here's a Christmas bedtime story, go straight to sleep, and I'm going to be leaving to, drop the presents off for you in the morning, kind of thing. Now, without lockdown, that as an idea just doesn't get off the ground, and it actually worked really nicely, and loads of kids got a Santa experience they were never going to expect them to get because of the year that we'd all had. But as a result, we've recognised now that, especially with the other work we've got on the go to do with supporting autism and various other conditions, that kids with autism, sensory conditions, hate crowds, all that sort of stuff, this is still marketable even without COVID. Now, carry it on specifically for kids whose parents just wouldn't even dare even go near a grotto. Stuff that a lot of families take for granted. They can just go and do it. Yeah, it's fine. A lot of families don't get that luxury. So we're going to carry that on, and without lockdown, we wouldn't be able to do that. So it's done one good thing.
I mean, I suppose it is a marketable thing because, I mean, kids now are that. I mean, my kids are like 8 and 5, and they're so proficient on these tablets and gadgets and stuff like that. They know exactly what they're doing. So I think that having a setting where Santa's playing on a screen as opposed to actually seeing them in person, isn't actually going to be that much different to them, because they're used to video calling, especially during lockdown, because that's all they ever did, is video call people. So I can see how that took off, and fair play to you for doing that as well, because that obviously you spotted a gap in the market there and a need, and you filled it, and you probably brought a lot of happiness to a lot of kids there. So fair dues to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that sounded pretty cool. I didn't actually know about that until
I'm a little bit jealous that I wasn't asked to be Santa. Not going to lie, but we'll skip over that. I think I've got the right aesthetic.
I saw the photos of your set, and it was just lovely. And that
was my living room because of COVID. I couldn't go and hire anywhere, so that was literally I couldn't go in my own living room for like a month, and then my son would come back from his mum's, and then I'd have to quickly shut the lounge door, or risk having to explain why his lounge was essentially and see these presents, which to be fair were his presents, underneath this tree, which is part of the set. It's like, no, the other kids can see your presents. You can't see your presents yet. So that was a bit awkward. I'm hoping this year we might be able to spread a bit further afield and find an actual, location rather than having to use my lounge. But like you said, a lot of people did like it.
That's could be like a story and a half, isn't it? When he's older, it's just like I caught my parents wrapping my presents. So I caught my dad filming Santa in my front room. So. Just saying,
Yeah.
Top that. It's the sort of thing that Alex would start getting really, really angry at, I can imagine, as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, not only did I see Santa, he's on my dad's payroll.
Yeah. My dad knows him. I'm going to get him to call you. Call Santa because you're bullying me.
Yeah.
But, you just won't even leave me alone. All you keep doing is just taking the mickey out of my student door and Josenhausen.
I love how playing the video was like a really difficult thing, but you've just got the Konvektoren and Schweigenheim.
Well, it's because it's right here. Like it's on the brand. Like it's already loaded like onto the system. But I know how to do it. So
does that mean that whenever you do any Biscuit live, you could pull out the Konvektoren and Schweigenheim?
Yeah, I can.
Can we challenge you during Pod Aid to find like one moment?
Well, isn't there going to be a reduced to clear?
Yeah, but that's cheating. You got to find one moment to bring up the Konvektoren and Schweigenheim with any of your Pod Aid.
I can't even.
Yeah, but like you can still bring it up. Maybe they'll know how to say it. You know how to describe it. I've brought it up enough. Like you know what it is. Just literally, right? Go when you're editing this, write down everything I say about the Konvektoren and Schweigenheim.
What I'm going to do is go through all the episodes. I'm going to get all the bits when you go off and rants about the bus. And I'm going to stitch them all together like a blooper reel and just have it like you're one continuously long rant.
You're going to listen back to this
stuff? I listen to bus rants. I'm just saying.
Would you?
Because nobody's ever brought it up that I've heard. So,
did you guys see my story on Facebook by any chance?
I don't use it.
Today.
I'll look at it now, mate.
The TikTok thing.
Yeah. Did you actually watch it?
Yeah.
There's a guy who who's downloaded all of the MCU films. The 4K MCU films, downloaded them all onto a hard drive, and now he's literally manually editing them into each other. So it's one continuously long film. And he's got them in absolutely, cool. Absolutely like.
And he's adding deleted scenes in as well.
Adding deleted scenes in, yeah, and he's actually got it in perfect chronological order.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that's mad. Because I want to do something like that, but like I wouldn't edit it, but I'd do something with like Star Wars. You know how like. The
it's
movies
all backwards, yeah.
They're all backwards, and there's like the Clone Wars, and like you watch the first two movies, and then you have to watch the show, and then stop watching the show. It'd be like with the Marvel, it's a lot like nicer. Are they doing it with the shows as well, or are they just like?
No, he's not putting TV shows into it yet. He said he will at some point, but he's just doing the feature films at the moment.
I mean, that must take ages.
The last thing he said was, "This is going to take ages to render."
Do I get cancelled for saying I've hardly seen any Marvel movies, and like I've seen like 3?
I don't really like them that much.
So we're going to carry on with this podcast now because I'm not accepting that at all.
Hey, he's the one who said he didn't like them. I have no opinion on
like
them.
them that
like,
I liked Infinity War and Endgame.
I've seen Captain America. I've seen both Guardians of the Galaxy's films, and I've seen the first Deadpool. That's Deadpool. All the MC. Oh, and I've seen Howard the Duck.
There we go. Never have I. Hold on a minute.
I've seen them all. I love the MCU films.
What about Howard the Duck?
I haven't seen Howard the Duck. I'm sorry.
Well, see, I've one-upped you. Watch Howard the Duck. It was the first Marvel movie.
Have you seen Iron Man? Have you seen Thor?
No, but Howard the Duck was the first movie made under the Marvel brand.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't think it's officially MCU because it's just the story of a duck from space that comes to Earth and falls in love with a human woman. Came out in 1986.
Beautiful.
And it's exactly as good as it sounds.
Awesome.
Oh.
So, just out of interest, did you guys see the Mile of Smiles that happened on Sunday?
I saw stuff on social about it. Yeah.
Did not go. Did not do anything.
When was it? What day?
It was on a Sunday. It's the last Sunday.
What was it? Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What you said? Did we see what?
The Mile of Smiles.
I have no idea what that is.
What are you on about?
I saw something about it, so I'm winning. I didn't think I would be, but I wasn't there. But at least I'm aware of it.
I was in Birmingham.
They live in Telford, man. Like, you can't blame them, really. It's
What's
not their
it
fault.
Called? Miles and Smiles.
Mile of Smiles. It was it's an event that happened in Shrewsbury. I went to it, and I'll be brutally honest, I was rubbish at it, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And every single time, cause like the events that happened on Mile of Smiles was like, it was a timed, event happening in like time slots. So the whole point is that you started off at the castle, then you walk through town, hitting these various events on your way through, and ended up at the quarry where there was a massive fun fair and like loads of stuff going on. I missed everything.
Wait,
I couldn't get it right.
Like, why is it called Mile of Smiles though?
Because it's a mile, and you smile.
You have to smile the whole way through.
Yes.
Oh, don't look at me like I'm stupid. I didn't even know what you were saying 2 minutes ago.
It's a metaphorical Mile of Smiles. Like, it's a mile, and there's lots of stuff for you to smile about.
Right.
Why do you have to ruin it, Alex?
I like my game a bit more. You have to walk a mile, and you can't stop smiling. That is so... And everyone has to try and make you not smile. Like the bus diagram would kill me instantly.
I was in a Wetherspoons in Birmingham for 5 hours on Sunday. That was my...
I know what I was doing. I was actually...
J2O, by the way. J2O, just for... I
wasn't in Shrewsbury, but I was shooting, doing a reshoot of a short film that I was helping with in Shrewsbury. So it's even worse. I was actually in Shrewsbury, so I do apologise. Like, I was that close. I could have...
I'm not angry, Gareth, all right? Yeah. I'm not angry, just a bit disappointed.
Just disappointed, yeah.
I get disappointed. It's your turn for me to be disappointed. I'm normally disappointed at Alex.
Well, to go back to being to go back to the feeling of disappointment, is it improv time?
Why do you keep...
I like improv. All right,
the thing is, though, right, Gareth. I'll just pre-warn you. Right, one of the times we did improv, Alex turned into a monkey, and he started doing monkey.
Oh, that was like a highlight of my life.
Ever since the monkey, it's gone downhill. I can't.
Alex, become a monkey again, please.
I can't. Never be in the. No,
you have.
He has to watch the old episode. There we go. These stuff figures.
It was. This is when we had Alex was like, I have an idea for an improv scene. He said, you're in space. You're an astronaut. I'm your pet monkey. And what was the other thing? He was like,
was Alex the
I was the rocket.
Space? Oh, you're the rocket. Yeah.
Edward Tidy was the space.
Oh, Edward Hecking Tidy.
Edward Hecking Tidy. Sorry, Alex was the monkey.
I think that might be my favourite episode. Honestly, it was fun.
Who's still got to put up with? Like, this is what I have to edit this stuff.
I have that whole thing clipped. I'm going to send you, Gareth. I have clipped on my computer a file that's just called Edward Monkey, and that's exactly what that is.
All right.
Right.
This started with when we had Winter Phonander on, and then
it was Winter's fault. Yeah.
Comedy. And then we thought, let's do it with Edward. Then we did it with Nanette. And then we did it just us, and I think
Nanette nearly made me cry.
Oh no, the next one just circled right back round. What was it? Oh yeah, it was. I had to hold her. I had to pretend I was like robbing her at gunpoint, and she was like, "Oh please no, don't!" Like, and I was just like, "Oh no, I can't."
I literally nearly cried. She was just like, please don't do that. Oh my god!
But when we flipped it and she had to hold me at gunpoint, I was scared. She's a versatile actress.
Yeah, she is amazing. So awesome.
Gareth, you have a lot to hold up to with whatever scenario Shane throws us today. We did one with Hannah as well. We did one with Hannah.
I like Hannah. She's awesome. I love her sass.
I like Hannah, right? And I like Hannah. Oh god, this sounds like a butt's coming.
I liked how you said I like Hannah Right. Because her name was Hannah Right. That was a good.
No, I like Hannah, but that episode isn't my favourite because I could barely stay in the call. So,
yeah. Because you used blooming Firefox.
Firefox. It's not
Gareth, when was the last time you touched Firefox?
About 2007.
Yes. None of you know nothing about computers. I'm not going to do this because it's a 3v1. Everyone comes on and attacks my Firefox. Just leave him alone. He's not even on the logo anymore, really.
I would proper stick the boot in, right? But I still use an AOL email address.
No, exactly.
I still use Skype. We've all got our problems here.
Yeah. You should listen to the Ewan episode, Gareth, because me and Ewan sort of went into a bit of nostalgia about social media, like remembering MySpace and like Bebo and stuff like that. Like, give it a listen. It's a good one.
Okay.
So scenario.
Gosh! Oh no! Okay.
Should we go? Do you want to go a little bit edgy? Do you want to go a little bit edgy?
Ooh, it depends.
Current affairs edgy. Should we go? Okay. So. Oh, I don't know if this is loud. I don't know if I should actually.
My thought was really simple, which is that we are like writers in a writing room trying to come up with, like, I don't know, like the next big hit, but then that's just stupid.
Okay,
well, I'm intrigued to hear what your edgy suggestion is, even if we don't do it.
I don't think we should do it, but I was going to say, Gareth is an anti-vaxxer, and he thinks COVID is is a hoax.
I mean,
I'm
not quite sure, like where we go from there.
What
I was going to say was that, Gareth goes into the shop without his mask on, and then Alex actually wears a mask, and he's another customer, and Luke, you're the store manager.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't know.
I don't think we should do it.
What it's worth, I spent the last year trying to repair my reputation.
And it's all going down.
We get soundbite culture, and like when Gareth's, the big star because of his role being the director of photography for the hit film Reduced to Clear, and he's trying to, he gets hired for the next Marvel movie off the back of that. All these clips will come out.
Oh no.
Yeah, and the last podcast, me and Luke, they look like nothing in comparison to this.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, I so want to talk about that, but there's a reason we can't talk about that.
Yeah,
there was an hour of very.
That was basically improv in itself, wasn't it? And that
was
entertaining.
We have a movie concept in there. Shane, maybe hang on slightly after this episode. We'll tell you this amazing idea.
Well, I need to talk to you anyway afterwards. But so let's go with Luke's idea then. So I don't know.
What is this idea?
It was just like the writers trying to.
Should we do Gareth's a writer?
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Give it a go.
So he's writing a film, and he's come to his mates, and we're in a pub. We're a little bit drunk as well.
One of us could be a director, and one of us could be an actor.
I don't mind being drunk. Oh no.
Me neither, mate. Me neither.
I really like pretending to be drunk. I've never been drunk. I love pretending to be drunk.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we go with that?
We're all a little bit schlocked.
We're a little bit drunk, and Gareth's like, you know what? I've been asked to make this film, and
so I'm drunk as well.
What?
I'm drunk as well, am I?
You can be if you want.
Are we all drunk?
She'll be drunk.
Right, so we just the casting
and Gareth's like, dude, lads, right, I'm counting on you. I need some help. I need to think of a film now.
We should each have some sort of role. One of us should be a director, one should be a producer, and one should be an actor.
Why?
Who wants what?
Well, just so that
I'll be an actor because I have no idea what I'm doing.
What do you want, Luke?
I'll be producer because then he has to sell the idea to me. I have to make it happen. And you can be director, Alex.
Oh, all right. And what? And Gareth's an actor.
Gareth's the writer.
Gareth's the guy who's pitching them.
I'm the drunk writer, which really isn't hard for me to act like. So it's all good.
give me
nailed it.
Give me about 20 seconds because I don't want my mom storming in the room. Like, why are you shouting and screaming like a drunk maniac?
I've got to edit this, dude. Like, don't.
Do you remember when we did the improv when he was shouting and screaming and his mum came into the room? That was...
He literally did, and he was like, sorry, my mum coming. It was really funny.
That was the first improv. We peaked then.
We peaked way too early, didn't we?
Episode 3.
No. Do you remember the one episode that we did because what's his name didn't turn up? So we just winged it, and it was just shambles.
Who? Wait, what was this?
We were just saying in the episode that we had to wing because of like a guest cancellation, and how that was just.
It was just awful.
That was.
So let me get this straight. We're still doing the movie thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm an actor. You're a director, Alex. Luke, you're a producer, and Gareth writing the film.
Just again, getting an idea before, which we're not doing. I have to sort of come up with an idea, like as in character now, drunk character, who's as a writer, idea for the film. Which is it like a completely like off limits topic to bring COVID into that or not? Is that? Because I can always stop and start again. You can cut it if it's too.
No, it's fine. We're in character now, so
yeah.
Okay. Oh. Right. Okay.
So what were you saying about that movie?
Right.
Here you have an idea, my friend.
Yeah. Luke, I know in the past
I trust you. It's going to be good.
I haven't always.
You're a good writer.
If I'm honest,
it's going to be a good idea.
Not all my ideas have always come off, if we're being honest, right? And there's all this COVID going on, and it's stopped all these films happening. So I thought, well,
these masks and that.
All the masks and that, it's like being back and watching a superhero film.
I bloody hate those masks.
So
it's all for our safety. It's all for our safety.
Well, that's it. It's got to be relatable.
No. COVID, the Illuminati, innit?
Oh, he's one of them.
Illuminati.
It's the Illuminati, innit?
Well, that's the great thing about a film about this. So it was opinion.
Real.
So I think right. I think.
How much money do you want?
Shut up. So right. Listen. Right. We get Carl Pilkington.
I'm in.
I'm in.
Will Smith and Meatloaf in the film.
Yeah,
Carl Pilkington, star of Conman Denominator. Carl Pilkington.
No,
I liked him in Conman Denominator.
My film.
I like.
Listen, guys, the plot, yeah.
Edward Tidy. We need to get him in a film.
Someone goes to get their COVID jab, yeah, and it goes wrong, and they get too much of the stuff in their arm, and they become COVID man.
That film's already made.
That would work.
And then it could be Carl Pilkington.
It's been made.
Exactly.
It's already made. That's not our idea.
I haven't seen that.
I've never seen that film. And the thing is, like any superhero film, you can make loads of them because you can go right up to 19. COVID-19. That's the last one of the series.
That's what we finished.
COVID-1, COVID-2,
exactly.
Well, it'd be like
COVID-3, A New Hope, COVID-4, Tokyo Drift.
Kevin Hart will have.
I watched that film.
John Malkovich.
Bill Nye. I will only do this if you get Bill Nye. He looks like a nice guy. I bet.
And I think we need to get Richard Curtis in there as well. I think Because Luke, I love you, man. I love you, man. I just want you to be happy. I just want you to be,
Another round, anyone? Another round.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
That's a movie film.
Another round? We're going to call it another round, are we?
Another round.
I think Luke's dead.
Film's another round.
So, guys, this COVID man villain superhero
Champagne, we're celebrating. Can we come up with an idea?
Oh,
Champagne.
Hand sanitizer is his weakness.
Hand
sanitizer. Yes, it's all coming together now.
And I can still point the camera thingy over there, even though I'm not in charge.
And the thing is, right, with COVID Man, like on Pitch Black with Vin Diesel, like when he goes up to the monster and he's just
he's
like,
bold man.
And he goes right up to it and it's like the blind spot.
That's cool.
You're sobering gut, Shane.
That is what happens when a bad guy puts on a mask to COVID Man.
Oh my God. And you came up with that. That came from your noggin.
That came from an actor. Actors are idiots.
Oh, yeah.
And his special power is he coughs and people fall over.
Oh.
You've got to do a big super cough.
Oh.
Let's act this out now. Let's act this out now. Alex, you cough at me, Alex. You cough at me.
Super cough. Buildings a lot.
I can't cough at you. I can't cough on demand.
I just thought completely out of character right now. I just said super cough. All I thought of was on Hancock when she's like the sneeze. The house can't take any more of your sneezing.
You're sobering up, Shane.
You're sobering up. Now, come on, let's act this out. Mr. Actor Man, you cough at me and I die. Come on, let's do this.
I'll direct it. I want to see performance coming now. Come on. I love it. I'm a bit emotional about seeing that.
We'll do that 5 more takes. 5 more.
That's an awful lot. I'm now stuck like half on the chair, half on the floor. This is...
For me to cut.
Well, everybody, shut up. What about the sequel to COVID-19 Mark II and I don't return?
I think that's going to be the film when COVID turns into a digital virus and goes into the...
It's the computer COVID.
COVID attacks Google, guys.
Yeah, we can make that video game. We could do the COVID film video game, the movie game,
a graphic novel.
COVID video game.
With 4 too many TV show spin-offs and characters that nobody cares about, like COVID Widow, and we can have. This is a bit true, actually. This is getting a bit real. We should start. We don't want that. Oh.
Right. Cut.
That's probably my favourite one to do, but it's probably not great for the listeners.
No.
I felt like I became my character towards the end.
I was wondering, are we still acting?
I feel actually drunk.
Yeah, all I drank was water, and I felt drunk.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, guys, there's no offense meant. If anybody's listened to this,
apologies.
Honestly, no offense meant. It's just a bit of fun. So anyway. Gareth, just come to the time as well. Do you want to plug your socials? Where can they find you? We
should really not do plugs after we make ourselves idiots.
Yeah, so please you can find me. The address is, it's the best thing is Facebook is what we're Facebook and Instagram is easiest. Find us on Facebook, just Rocking Horse, nothing else on the end. Instagram is rocking_horse_Oswestry. Anyone's interested in getting involved to audition or just be part of the crew, just like Luke did all that time ago, which led us to this point. So it does work sometimes. It's info@rockinghorseoswestry.co.uk. So drop us a line and find out what we're up to and get involved.
Awesome. And please do, guys. Please do, because they're going to go into theatre. It sounds like they've got a lot in the pipeline as well. I'm certainly going to keep my eyes open for what they're doing. And
this seems insanely cool. I'd like to sign up for everything right now.
You'll have the full Monty then, Luke. Sound?
Who needs to sit A-level exams?
True.
They're overrated.
I dropped out. I'm not promoting it, but I did.
Yeah, to be fair,
we can't.
Also, well, I technically didn't go to college at all, but then I went when I was older. So,
thing is, we legally have to either be in like A-levels or apprenticeship.
We can be in a job, a full-time.
It has to be an apprenticeship, doesn't it? I'm sure there was like
there's no legal obligation for further education.
All good.
I'm so shocked. I'm sure the law.
Nope.
Really
no, you have to be in one of the three. You have to be either working in education or
you have to be doing something. But
but I think it has to be some form of education. I think it has to be like an apprenticeship or training. It can't just be like a normal.
I know people that have just dropped out. Like they didn't go.
School. I then literally did about a month in an apprenticeship, and I left that because I didn't get on with the boss. And then literally I think about a week later I started working at Asda.
Okay, so it says here on the gov.uk website, you can leave school on the last Friday in June if you'll be 16 by the end of the summer holidays. You must do one of the following until you're 18. Stay in full-time education, start an apprenticeship or traineeship, or spend 20 hours or more a week working or volunteering while in part-time education or training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically,
if you're working, you still
work.
have to be in part-time educational training while you're working. You can't just work without.
You can.
That's what it says here.
It says at least 20 hours.
20 hours or more a week working or volunteering while in part-time educational training.
Well, I didn't.
I mean, I know people that have.
I think this only came in like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, like I know people like.
Oh, I'm not that old. Like,
I know people our age that.
Do you know what I mean, Gareth? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know.
Only come in a couple of years ago. Like, all right, like they didn't even have.
I mean, literally a couple of years ago.
Like, I heard the other day, right? My daughter is actually they have tablet time at school, and they get given iPads in school to do work on. I was like, what? iPads? They got iPads in school?
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
You see, we went from the scale of like in primary school, you'd have like between 1 and 3 computers at the back of the classroom. You'd have to take it in turns.
Primary school.
Up until well, yeah, we started with that, and then we got to the point like but later primary, early secondary, where like there were enough computers for everyone to have one in the lesson, or like we had MacBooks in year 6. Well, like from year 4, we had MacBooks. There was like a trolley of MacBooks, and like everyone could just.
I remember in
a MacBook.
Juniors,
we used to be exciting. Yeah, last day of term, they wheel the TV and wheels on into.
That was what this big.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that was good.
And Shane, you say you're not.
And our like the exciting bit was when we walked. We always roll our eyes when they came in with the overhead projector.
Yeah.
And put it so it's on the board. That was our interactive whiteboard, having an overhead projector, and I got the honour of changing the slides sometimes. So,
ooh, that's cool. I remember like golden time on Fridays. We'd just play Minecraft in junior school on the iPads. Yeah, times are moving, Shane.
I got the board brother thrown at me for being naughty.
I once got banned from using the iPads in my year 4 or 5 because apparently we were using them for inappropriate stuff. But then when I asked the teacher what was it, when my parents came to ask what it was we did, he realised he actually had no idea and just banned me for no reason. I didn't do anything wrong. It's true.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second.
To be honest, the teacher.
You're clearly doing something wrong.
And you just grasped you up to cover what he was looking at, probably. Dodgy teacher.
Yeah, that's true. So, Alex, do you want to do your socials, mate?
Yeah, sure, mate. Rise by Daylight with dots in between the words, and then Mr. Middle Films, all one word, is mine and Luke's. Like the Mr. Middle Films, Instagram. There you go. I'm cutting it down.
Did you forget the word Instagram for a minute?
I didn't. I just didn't know like if to call. I didn't know what to call it.
It's called Instagram, mate.
How's that, Shane? Though I cut all my plugs down to like 10 seconds, 20 seconds.
Well done. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I'm going to beat him, and I'm not going to do plugging anything. Just to win.
Why don't you go plug anything?
Can't do that. I plug the thing. Hi.
Do your plugs, Luke.
All right, I will give you the full plugs. Right,
I want the full Monty right now.
At llama_bottle0, Instagram the Ginger Luke, Facebook Luke Allen Film, all podcasts, radio, print, newspaper articles, short films, anything I'm remotely involved in is over at lukeallen.co.uk. When that website's back online, you can email me, luke@lukeallen.co.uk. You can find me on IMDb, you can find me on Podchaser. You've got also my podcast, 2 Minutes About Time, which is on all good podcast platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well at 2 Minutes About Time. Christmas Actually is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Christmas Act Pod. Love Rosie Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Love Rosie Pod. My old podcast, Please Be Seated, isn't on all good stuff, but you can find it on podcast platforms on Facebook and on Twitter at If Please Be Tweeted. I'm also on YouTube at Luke Allen, and you can find Mr. Middle Films on YouTube, Mr. Middle Films, or go to the MXM Hub for Movie by Minute podcasts, and I run that page also.
Yeah. Busy.
Are you done?
I think so.
We're an hour in.
Hey, I still said that in about the length of time it says to say right by daylight. So
I'm always impressed how fast you can say it, because I could barely say like Shoesy Biscuit podcast without tripping over.
Well, myself. I didn't do to the thing is it wasn't to that full extent, but I used to do quite long plugs at the end of podcasts, and once I've done 77 episodes of 2 Minutes About Time, recording like 3 days a week. No, hang on, recorded 3 episodes at a time, 3 days a week. So that's like 9, saying it 9 times a week over lockdown. It just sticks in your head.
I can imagine.
So anyway, you can find us over at the Shoesy Biscuit podcast.co.uk, which has been made for us by our friends over at Web Orchard. On that website, you'll also find a link. There'll be a button there called Pod Aid, which is, I'm going to put this one up, so although it's not quite accurate, because I've got a new actual brand now, but I need to get it on here. We are doing a 24-hour podcast challenge. From 9 o'clock on the 29th of September to 9 o'clock on the 30th of September, non-stop. It will be streamed on social medias. We've got Reach Media, which is our main sponsors for the event, but we are massively looking for sponsors and donations for an auction to raise money for Lyndon Davis. So if you know anybody that wants to get involved, sponsorships, I believe, are a minimum donation of £100, which goes directly to Lyndon Davis. And the whole point of that, we'll be able to basically plug all of anything you want, really. We can display imagery, we can put videos up, we can plug your websites, anything you want, really. And that'll be for an hour slot, and we've got 24 to give away, basically. And donations wise, we will be running an auction at some point, so anything you guys could, if you listen to this, you can donate to.
Would you like 7 copies of About Time?
No, not really. I'm joking. So anything that can be donated so we can auction off would be amazing. So please either drop me a direct message on Facebook or any of the socials or why Luke, or drop the Biscuit page a message. But also Pod Aid does have its own socials as well. You can find it on Facebook, Instagram. I think it's on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, I mean, just drop us a line, and if you haven't got anything to chuck our way, then just tune in and put it in your diary, because it's going to be pretty awesome. I've actually booked it off work, so I'm actually going to be there for the full 24 hours, which means I'm going to be knackered.
I'm going to message my college principal this week and see whether he could tell me what times I can do.
Yeah.
Because we need to know when we're doing Reduce to Clear.
And I think that's more or less it. One thing I will want to do, I just want to just bang this one up as well. Make sure you tune in on a Thursday to Naughty Talk with Alex Whiteley, which is on Splash Damage Radio. He's working very hard. He's got his own little radio show there, and I think it was an hour, and now he's doing 2 hours. So I think he's got a 2 hour slot on a radio show, which is pretty awesome. On top of all the other stuff he's doing, and no wonder he always says that he's busy. One last thing I do want to put out, simply because I am absolutely blown away by this picture. Now, the reason why I wanted to mention Marla Smiles earlier on is to link it in with this. I went on it, as I said before, and I actually gave my old phone, my phone, to my son, who's 5. And I said, there you go. There's no SIM in it or anything. It's got cracked screen and stuff. And he just goes around taking photos, with this phone. I thought, give it him. There you go. It doesn't matter if you drop it. I don't really care about it, just do what you want. He snapped this photo which then I sent to Alex, and he then edited it and did some wizardry with it, and then posted it, and he's using it as an artwork for one of the podcasts, which I thought was amazing for a 5-year-old. How awesome is that for someone who's 5? He just snapped that himself. You know, I was just really, really impressed with that. So my son is actually a genius. I've decided. So I just wanted to go a little bit of a shout out to my son, although he won't listen to this and probably won't be listening to this for about another 10, 15 years, if I'm lucky.
The idea that 10, 15 years from now he goes, I know what I want to hear. I want to hear.
Well, you know, you might want to, like, you know, learn what his dad did during lockdown.
This is definitely not the best example of that.
So he's going to listen to my voice has been carved into stone right now. Like in the future, they're going to dig up some hard drive somewhere, and it's going to be my old hard drive, and they're going to be like, there is loads of audio on this from a guy called Shane. And I'm going to go down in history.
My Podchaser account gives me like it gives me like the amount of time that, like, across all podcasts I've recorded or guested on, how much audio there is. You probably got way more than me, but there is 6 days and 7 hours worth of audio that I'm on.
Collectively?
That's terrifying. Yeah,
that's actually pretty cool. I don't think Podbean does that.
No, it's all Podchaser, because Podchaser is like a social. We're not sponsored. Podchaser is a social media for podcasters, where, like, if you guest on a show, you can add yourself a guest credit. People could then follow, like, people who follow me on Podchaser would then get a notification every time I guest on a different show or every time an episode I'm in comes out. It's pretty interesting. I've been on 209 episodes across different podcasts, 24 different podcasts, 6 days and 7 hours. Yeah.
So well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm
guys,
also on TikTok for the plugs. I'm on TikTok.
He does this every time, Gareth. This is why it takes you 20 minutes to shut the bloody podcast down. You just keep. Sometimes I just cut them off. I'm just like, no. But anyway, guys, let's get out of here. I'll catch you in a bit. Peace out.
Oh.